Wizards and witches, get ready for the Harry Potter concert series. To Variety, I'm David Daniel.
We've seen how these cars can take on scenic, sweeping mountain roads to truly test these agile machines. We need to let them loose. It feels like it's dancing with you. And it just does it so gracefully and elegantly. Let's try it again. It's so much fun! There's nothing this car can do.
Tunay kaliwag sa panahon. Pasibayong ining Kapampangan News, kaniking CNN Philippines electric train, alternatibong sakyawan ning sinkhole, pantun ng relokasyon, datos pinirmang peace covenant. Sumagid din may kalapaman niya lang sa
Magpuhon, ako si Metro Antigua Makapagal.
Ako po ini Colette Henson Hizon, pasibayo po Kabalet, Mayapagat Manapon.
We focus on the top international stories and the conversations about their significance on our daily lives. ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack. Hillary Clinton is digging in for a tough fight. 10,000 migrant children who traveled to Europe are missing. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Let's talk about what moves the world.
This is a serious threat to our national security.
We almost thought it can't be this bad, can it? Unfortunately, what we found is it is.
This is a group made up largely of entrepreneurs, and they didn't make $5 billion by doing the ordinary.
If all we aim to understand is that this is a very bad person, then let's not understand anything else.
Lawmakers are not giving up on pension hike.
Taiwan's ties with China are on the line as it elects woman president.
ISIS, kinumpirma ang pangamatay ng jihad.
Warrant of arrest nagibasihan sa pagsikap.
Washington, D.C. to face the wizard.
A busy day for presidential candidates.
Itong piso na lamang ang pamasahe sa jeep.
Tia Alonso Roosevelt officially begins her reign. Saudi Arabia's economy takes a hit.
Through of legal cases.
Manny Pacquiao will return to the ring. An investigation into a deadly attack in Pakistan is moving forward.
This is CNN Philippines.
Bata pa lang ako, gusto ko na talaga magsundalo eh. Walang instant na reward bilang guro. Iyalay ko sarili kong buhay. Bakit?
Hindi namin binabaliwala yung everyday ko ano yung nakikita mo sa kalye.
You have to be distinctly Filipino to connect with the global world.
Communication is very important.
As long as you bring in this good intention to make a difference in the Philippines, then come join our movement. You're in the newsroom here on CNN Philippines. On the program today, presidential candidates take center stage in a COMELEC-initiated debate, the first event of its kind in more than 20 years. The fire in an industrial park in Batangas and the town of Calaca is now under a state of calamity. And LG unveiled their latest offerings, the S7 and the G5. Good afternoon. The first presidential debate took place on Sunday. This is the first time the Commission on Elections hosted a debate in 24 years. It is also the first one to be held outside Metro Manila. Senior correspondent David Santos has the highlights of the event.
As the show closes for the first presidential debate, the candidates heave a collective sigh of relief, emerging From the stage of the Capitol University Mini Theater, they share one thing in their mind.
Pero maganda rin naman yan ay hindi pagsabungin ang mga kandidato, kundi magkaroon ng constructive discussion.
The showdown between some continue even after the debate, when Rojas claims the Aquino government has allocated more funding for Mindanao's development. The tough-talking mayor of Davao questions this. Rojas also blasts Vice President Jojo Binay over corruption allegations. Binay shrugs it off when reporters reach out to him for a comment. While there are the heated exchanges, observers say some candidates cannot help but be friendly with each other. After all, this debate is being held here in Cagayan de Oro, otherwise known as the City of Golden Friendship. The mutual admiration between Duterte and feisty Senator Miriam Santiago do not go unnoticed. Some even call it a love fest. They are seen hugging in this photo taken before the start of the debate.
We were treading each other gingerly. There was no slapping or other forms of violence. So, and that was good for you, ma'am? Yes, of course.
The next debates will take place in Cagayan de Oro City. David Santos, CNN Philippines.
The next presidential debate, March 20th in Cebu. Presidential candidates are back on the campaign trail today. Grace Poe is in General Santos City. She is going to Bukidnon this afternoon. Jejomar Binay is also in Mindanao. He is in Misamis Oriental, and he will also take his campaign to Iligan City. President Rodrigo Duterte. Presidential debate, PDP Laban's Rodrigo Duterte with his running mate Alan Peter Cayetano sat down with our chief correspondent and Pia Ontiveros to talk about his platforms and his take on various issues.
Let me stand and it's sacred to me. I am Rodrigo Duterte. Sinabi ko sa inyo, 3 to 6 months I will get rid of crime, criminality, corruption. Subukan niyo ako. 3 to 6 months. I am willing to put at stake my honor, my life, and the office itself.
Go to CNN Philippines Facebook page for the highlights of the town hall. Senatorial candidate Manny Pacquiao yet another challenge to his bid after criticisms on his anti-same-sex union comments. Another contender for a Senate seat wants the boxing champ to postpone his upcoming April bout. JC Gotinga is at the Commission on Elections. He joins us with the details on this. JC.
That's right, Claire. Former Akbayan representative and now senatorial candidate Walden Bello is asking the Commission on Elections to clarify how election rules apply on campaign propaganda, or how those rules apply to senatorial candidate Manny Pacquiao. Specifically, Bello wants to know whether the media exposure that Pacquiao will get during his April 9 match with Timothy Bradley constitutes an election offense. In his petition, Bello cites provisions of the Fair Election Act, which prohibits candidates from taking part in activities that will give them exposure beyond the limits that are set by the government to campaign propaganda. So Bello says the media coverage and promotion of the match will far exceed the limits set. For instance, the poll body only allows a national candidate 120 minutes of TV exposure per station. So Bello says exposure from the match will give Pacquiao a tremendous and unfair advantage over other candidates. He adds that Pacquiao may have deliberately agreed to set the fight on a date prior to the elections, knowing that it would give him extensive media coverage. So Bello now appeals to Pacquiao to postpone the fight to after the elections on May 9. Otherwise, Bello says Pacquiao may face disqualification over an election offense if he does not abide by what the COMELEC would say on the matter. So let's listen to what Bello has to say on Pacquiao.
Well, sa tingin ho namin, klaro naman yung rules ng COMELEC, and then bahala na si Congressman Pacquiao if he wants to have the fight go on and risk disqualification, or he follows COMELEC rules and postpones it till after the May 9 elections.
So, Claire, CNN Philippines tried to ask for a comment from the camp of Congressman Pacquiao, but at the moment, they have not given a statement on this matter just yet. Claire.
All right, thank you, JC, for that update. JC Gotinga reporting. A senatorial candidate is now at the Supreme Court to compel the COMELEC to print voters' receipts. Ivy Sonar is covering the High Court. She has an update. Ivy, go ahead.
Yes, Claire, senatorial aspirant Richard Gordon asked the Supreme Court to order the Commission on Elections to print ballot receipts during the May elections. Gordon wants the COMELEC to implement the voter-verified paper on file, or the VVPAT, under the amended automated elections law, which he authored. Gordon argues without a receipt, results from the vote counting machines would be open to doubt. The COMELEC unanimously decided not to implement the VVPAT system because it may allow to vote buying, and that it will extend voting by 5 to 7 hours. Gordon says the VVPAT system is required under Section 6 law, and its implementation is mandatory. He warns COMELEC officials may be impeached because they're...
Thank you, Ivy Saunar there reporting. COMELEC Chairman Andres Bautista says he is willing to argue before the court the case Rappler filed on the president. In an interview with CNN Philippines, said negotiations for the debates were done in a transparent manner. He argues Rappler signed Miranda.
Whoever the lead organizer will be, will have the right to live stream, unless they assign or they give consent to other entities to live stream. They were asking me to basically direct the networks to give them the live streaming rights. And I said that goes against the agreement that they had signed.
Bombers detonated a car bomb in Damascus. 8 were injured in that attack. Local officials say 10 people died in Fiji during the onset of Winston. The Prime Minister has declared a state of emergency for the next 30 days. All schools will be closed this week, but the international airport has reopened. Winston is the most powerful storm to... And Pope Francis calls for a worldwide ban on death penalty. The pontiff also wants a moratorium on any executions during this holy year of mercy. His comments came ahead of an international conference against the death penalty in Rome. Stay tuned.
Gusto ko mag-celebrate. Kaya ang gusto ko, Magnolia. Celebrate goodness every day.
Let's bar tonight. Gotta look good. Gotta feel good.
It's easy to meet more good and make 100 calories lang. Magaan sa tiyan.
Parang you've met everyone na.
Everyone but you.
Petron Ultron. Gasoline engine oil that has TS3 or thermal stress stabilizing system for high temperature control. Petron Ultron, the gasoline engine stress reliever.
Sarap mag-celebrate with Magnolia Chicken. Now available Magnolia Chicken Smart Packs.
Life is good. Yes, there's less hair and a few more inches around the waist. But there's also weekends, naps on the couch, and lots of private jokes. I have no regrets. Zero. You see, that's the secret. Let go of the bitterness. Life is good, and life at 40, even better.
Newsroom is back with world headlines. ISIS is claiming a wave of deadly bombings that hit Syria on Sunday. Syrian state media reports about 83 people died and 178 others are injured after blasts hit a southern district of Damascus. ISIS says 2 suicide bombers blew themselves up after detonating a car bomb. Witnesses reported 4 bomb blasts. The attacks came hours after 2 car bombs exploded in the western Syrian city of Homs. State media says these attacks killed at least 46 and wounded 100 others. Among the victims are students and government employees. This is the second deadliest attack of its kind in Homs since 2011. The chaos in Syria comes as the U.S. and Russia thresh out terms of a ceasefire deal. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says they are closer to reaching a deal, but he says some issues still need to be resolved. He also does not expect any immediate change on the ground. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad says he is ready for a ceasefire provided terrorists won't use it to their advantage. Assad's fate is one of the main points of difference between Washington and Moscow. The U.S. wants Assad to step down to end the fighting, but Russia disagrees. Russia began airstrikes in September aimed at rebels fighting Assad. As far as 1 million people since it began in 2011. Tropical cyclone Winston has killed at least 10 people in Fiji, according to officials there. Now government workers are expected to head back to work. The international airport has also reopened. But as a precaution, all schools will be shut down this week. The Prime Minister on record to hit the Pacific Island nation. The storm brought heavy flooding, flattening trees, and knocking out power across the nation. Pope Francis calls for a worldwide ban on the death penalty. The Pope also wants a moratorium on any death penalty starting today. For centuries, the Catholic Church has allowed the death penalty in extreme cases, but that position shifted under the late Pope and now St. John Paul. The Holy Year of Mercy ends in November. On to the race for the White